Brad Pitt recently opened up on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast, and y'all, he did not hold back. He spilled all the emotional tea about how life fell apart after his split from Angelina. He described that phase as a major wake-up call. He said the whole breakup situation pushed him into a real-life crisis where he had to take a hard look at himself and everything going on around it. It was a difficult time. I needed rebooting. I was really open to trying anything and everyone, anything anyone threw at me, he recalled. He said he had to wake the F up in some areas.
Whew, had to wake up in some areas.
That's raw, y'all. And while Brad didn't drop any names, fans couldn't help but connect the dots. He might have been throwing it back to that famous moment when his ex-wife Jennifer Aniston said he had a sensitivity chip missing during their split back in 2005. That comment still echoes in celeb gossip history, and Brad's words kind of bring it full circle.
Now this part right here, it's deep. Brad revealed that joining Alcoholics Anonymous was a huge turning point for him. He said he felt super nervous at first, like who wouldn't be? But once he stepped into that room and saw other people being vulnerable and honest about their struggles, it gave him the green light to open up too. He stated it gives you permission to go, okay, I'm gonna step out on this edge and see what happens. And then I really grew to love it. He even gave a major shout out to Dax Shepard, the podcast host and fellow actor, who's also been open about his own addiction journey. Brad said Dax brought good vibes to the group and always had a way of lightening the mood with humor. Dax was usually near the end because he's been there a while. I just thought it was incredible. Men sharing their experiences with their foibles, their missteps, their wants, their aches, and a lot of humor with it. That's seriously powerful. It's not easy for men, especially celebs, to talk about stuff like this. Brad's transparency is honestly inspiring. Brad also talks about how the way he was raised played a big role in how he dealt with emotions, or more like didn't deal with them. Growing up in the Midwest, he said the whole vibe was like everything's fine, even when it totally wasn't. Everything is great was the default answer, he said, even when it wasn't. Basically, you had to act tough and just push through it no matter how you were really feeling. That made his experience with AA even more meaningful because it gave him space to feel without being judged. Now let's go back a bit, like way back, to the summer of 1994. Brad said this was the most unhealthy time in his life, and it's wild because that's when his star was really rising. He had just done a bunch of blockbuster films, but instead of feeling excited, he was lost and super burned out. He didn't know what he wanted anymore. Pitt said, I would wake up, I would get a bong load, I would have 4 Coca-Colas on ice, no food. This particular summer, I watched the OJ trial, and I was just trying to figure out, what do I do next? What do I do next? Yep, the O.J. Simpson trial was his background noise during that whole period. That's when his manager, Cynthia, who he now calls like a sister, sent him a script that would end up changing everything. My dear friend and manager, and basically my sister now, Cynthia, sends the 7 script over. She says, you've got to read this. I read the first 7 pages, I call her up, I go, are you kidding me? The cliche old cop wants out, the young cop comes in and he's looking at his high school football trophies. She goes, just finish it. Then I go meet with Finch and he was just talking about films like I'd never heard anyone speak about film. I just got the Jones back. Finding that thing it just reinvigorated what I wanted out of this thing. We love a comeback story. Brad said meeting David Fincher, who directed 7, totally brought the fire back. Suddenly, Brad wasn't just acting for fame. He was creating something that actually meant something to him. And yep, that script was for the movie 7, which dropped in 1995 and is now a straight-up classic. In the movie, Brad plays a detective hunting down a serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as his twisted blueprint. It also starred Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kevin Spacey, and it was dark, but it put Brad on a whole new level. At the time, Brad already had some big movies under his belt, like Interview with the Vampire, Legends of the Fall, Thelma and Louise, and True Romance. But 7? That movie flipped the switch. It also kicked off his long-term collab with Fincher, which would give us other gems like Fight Club and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So, what's life like for Brad Pitt these days? Well, he's still killing it on screen. He's currently promoting a new racing blockbuster called F1, but even with all that promo buzz, Brad admitted he's not really into the Hollywood press game. He told Dax that even now, after all these years in the biz, he still doesn't feel like he's good at the whole promotion thing. Crazy, right? And on the personal side, Brad is now living in Los Angeles with his boo, jewelry exec Inez de Ramon. It looks like he's found a bit of peace after all the chaos. He's not pretending everything's perfect, but he's focused on healing, staying grounded and moving forward. So yeah, y'all, Brad Pitt just gave us a rare, honest look into his life, and it hit deep. From battling addiction and personal demons to finding light through creativity, friendships, and just being real, this journey has layers.
His story reminds us that no matter how rich or famous someone is, they still go through pain, confusion, and hard choices. But they can also grow, heal, and come back stronger.
Now it's your turn. What shocked you the most about Brad's story? Were you surprised he went through all that? Did his words about addiction and healing hit you a little different? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any of the tea we spill here every week. Till next time, stay cool, stay curious, and see you in the suggested video.